Tonight, Vice President Mike Rowe, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. calling Rowe to talk about the job. The Emmy Award-winning TV host Mike Rowe is famously known for the hit show Dirty Jobs. And then he tweeted from the airport, quote, boarding a flight at DFW, Dallas, just saw this on a monitor. Airports are funny places. And this is, of course, that CNN graphic of RFK Jr.'s VP list. Mike Rowe highlighted on it right now. And he is out front with me to talk about this and more. So, all right, Mike, great to see you. Let's just start with this. Kennedy talked to you about possibly joining his ticket. What did he say?
It's a weird world, man. I mean, you really you're walking through an airport, you're minding your own business, and you look up, and there you are with a wrestler and a motivational speaker and a star athlete. Yeah, he called. Actually, I ran into him about 6 months ago in Dallas, totally serendipitously, and we exchanged information. And he reached out about a month ago. We had a meeting, and we talked about a bunch. Mostly, we talked about my foundation, and he was very kind. And it turns out this foundation I've been doing for about 16 years now
Micro
was very
works.
much on his mind.
Hmm.
Yeah, micro works. So we talked about vocational training, and we talked about ways to maybe get the educational system in our country a bit more egalitarian. We talked about a lot of other stuff too. And at some point, he asked me if I'd ever consider running for public office, and I spit my coffee back into my cup and said, seriously? And he said, yeah. And so for the first time in my life, I found myself having kind of a really serious conversation about what that even means. And why I had that conversation, I'm happy to talk about it if you want, but it was not expected, but ultimately really kind of gratifying.
And so, I mean, was he talking to you specifically about the VP role and what that meant and what that would mean to you? I mean, what can you give me more of a feel for what the conversation was about and how he behaved?
Well, he's very gracious, and he's very smart, and he's very direct. And I had no idea what I was really walking into, but his team was there, and they were also super inquisitive. They listened more than they talked. I wound up interviewing him. He interviewed me. We had a few laughs. It was a very friendly, very casual conversation, but he's serious. And when he talks about the things he's serious about, he leans in, and it's hard not to listen. He's serious about the debt. He doesn't want to see 34 trillion get to 50. He believes if it does, the country can't service it. Party's over. He's serious about ending forever wars. He's serious about waging a war, really, on chronic disease and diabetes and things like that. Uh, we don't agree on everything, that's for sure. And when that became apparent, he just laughed and said, "Look, I don't want to surround myself with yes men and yes women.
Hmm.
I want people who care about the country. I want people who'll tell me the truth as they see it and let the chips fall." He said a lot of stuff that was good to hear, frankly.
When you talk about things you didn't agree with him on, I mean, is there anything you can be specific on? And did he bring up things that, as you know, Mike, have been controversial? You talk about his care for health, for example, vaccines. I mean, did topics like that come up directly?
Not really, because that stuff has been so talked to death in the media that he's everybody kind of knows, all right, this is the wrap. Is there anything you want to say about it specifically? Honestly, Aaron, yeah, we did talk about some of that stuff, and I don't know that it's fair for me to really walk you through it chapter and verse. I
Mhm.
told him, for instance, look, I I'm friendly with a lot of people in the fossil fuel business. That's not a secret. My foundation is supported by all sorts of people who he's sued in the past. We laughed about that and just kept coming back to, look, we're living in an extraordinary time. The headlines have never been like this. The things that we seem to agree on, we appear to agree on with a certain amount of passion. And then it just became personal, to tell you the truth. Look, I've been doing this foundation for 16 years. At base, it's a PR campaign. At base, it's an attempt to raise awareness around a couple of things that matter to me a lot. And he was very upfront about it. He said, look, Mike, that topic, education, middle class, vocational development and workforce and so forth, that's the pointy part of the spear in my campaign. It matters. And if you want to see your foundation go from micro works to macro works, I think he said, then you should think about this. You should at least consider it. And so I did.
And consider it, you mean consider the VP slot?
Sure.
So I want to ask you one thing here as you talk about the seriousness with which RFK Jr. is taking the decision that he has to make and his campaign and the people around him. On his list, you mentioned a sports star. That, of course, is the NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know if you know this, but Rodgers told two people, and one of those people is CNN's Pamela Brown. He told them about conspiracy theories about the 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary, including saying the shooting was a government inside job, that victims' families were crisis actors. Do you believe that that is a serious point of view? Is that somebody that should be on a Kennedy ticket?
I have no idea. I think that I think he has a right to articulate whatever he wants, and we have a right to respond however we want. I have no idea what the man actually said. I did see something about it today, but I don't know what qualifies or disqualifies anybody from running for anything. You know, somebody said to me the other day, a friend of mine who saw the same graphic that you put up earlier, I think her exact question was, how in the hell are you qualified to do this? And I started to explain how she was right and how I wasn't. And, you know, Bobby said something to me. He said, there's so many skeletons in my closet. If you really open it up and give it a look, and if they could all vote, I'd be king of the world, which made me laugh. You could probably find stupid stuff that anybody has said. But what really qualifies a man or woman to run for president or vice president? I think you got to be 35. I think you need to have been born in this country. After that, I don't know about qualifications. I guess we could talk experience and judgment and temperament and all of those other things, and everybody gets to weigh and measure everybody and put it all under a microscope and decide. Personally, I stopped watching football after the Colts left Baltimore, so I don't know how much use I can be on that.
Oh, wow. Wouldn't even think we'd have a Baltimore connection like that. All right. Thank you so much.
They broke my heart, Aaron. They broke my heart.
As a Marylander, I hear you. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Mike, and it's always great to see you.
Shameless plug, $1 million for work ethic scholarships available now at microworks.org for anybody who's inclined.
You got it. And thank you.
You're welcome.